Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. My name is Katie Dodd, and I'm a nutrition entrepreneur. I spent 7 years as a side hustler before diving into entrepreneurship full time. Before making the leap, I was bringing in 6 figures through my side hustle. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the 274th episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast, Real Life ChatGPT Uses, Business and Personal. Now, last night I hosted a webinar as part of my Momentum Monday series all about smart AI strategies. And the purpose of the whole webinar was showing how you can use AI in your business, in all the different areas of business, to save you time, to help you be more efficient. And I just have to say, I love ChatGPT. One slide, I actually was sharing some real life examples, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to share that with the podcast listeners because we hear all about AI, ChatGPT, but I wanted to share you some specifics of how I've used it for business and my personal life and how amazing it has been for me. Now, I feel like I've shared a couple of these stories before, and I can't remember always where I share my stuff, so I might be repeating some things I've shared in the past, but I figure that's okay. We usually forget most of what we hear anyways. So there are many different tools for AI. I think probably the bigger ones I'm most familiar with or hear people talk about is ChatGPT and also Claude, but ChatGPT has been my go-to. I do have the paid version. You can absolutely use it for free. The paid version is $20 per month. I have it on my phone, and I have, with the paid version, there's a little talk feature. So very frequently, I'm able to just talk to ChatGPT and tell it what I need. And that saves me time because I'm a slow typer on a phone. It's just how I am. So I appreciate that I'm able to push a button, talk. And also when I'm on my computer, I like that I'm able to upload files. That's very helpful too. So I think, do I want to start with personal or business? What do I want to start with? I'll start with business just because I said it first. So I'm going to share a few specific areas that I've been using ChatGPT with lately that are a little bit more like, not like everyday tasks I use, but more specific ways I've been using it. So y'all know I'm writing a book, or I've written a book. It's called Dietitian Side Hustle. It is going to go live November 5th. Fingers crossed, we're encountering some formatting issues, but we are working hard on getting that fixed. But when I wrote this book I did not use AI for. I did write it all myself, but I used ChatGPT once I was done writing. And what I used ChatGPT for was to review the content I was writing. Because when you are spending months and months writing, you are so in the weeds. And when you are also in the weeds of what you do in business, sometimes it's easy to forget simple steps or simple things of like, well, wait a minute, not everyone might know this step that I've skipped. So what I would do as I wrote this book is I would copy and paste in whole chapters, and I would let ChatGPT know, I just finished another chapter. Does this make sense? Is anything missing? Those 2 questions. Does this make sense? Is anything missing? And what I love about ChatGPT is it was able to review it quickly and say like, well, actually, this is a little confusing. You might want to clear this up. Or, hey, you missed this step. Or, hey, you missed this piece. Or, hey, did you think about this? And it was so helpful for me in the writing process because, I wrote the book. I've read it many times myself already. I have an editor. I've had 4 beta readers. But having that tech side, that AI side that was just going to review it and kind of spit out information was so helpful. So it gave me tips of like, oh yeah, I'm going to go add this in. And then I go add it in. So ChatGPT was incredibly helpful for reviewing the book writing that I've been doing. I also recently used it, and I shared about this, I know for sure, on the podcast, creating email sequences for the geriatric dietitian. And I think in the last episode, I shared an update on the Geriatric Dietitian 2X project, and I shared how I was able to create an email sequence, a welcome sequence, and a nurture sequence, to where essentially when someone on my blog, The Geriatric Dietitian, signs up for one of my freebies, they will get served by me with education, information, value, support, and opportunities to buy products as applicable and however it might serve them. And that'll be for an entire year. And I just think that's so cool that ChatGPT was able to take the format that I teach my students and how to create emails. It was able to pull content from my website. It was able to pull content from my CV that I attached to the prompts that I was sharing with ChatGPT, and it created really incredible emails. Now, many of them I had to edit, tweak. AI is a tool. I think I said that last night on my webinar 1,000 times. AI is a tool. So it's not like I just copy and paste the whole thing, but if something doesn't look good, I'll tweak it. Sometimes ChatGPT made up products that I don't even sell or blog articles I didn't even write. So I'm like, I don't know what you're doing over there, but for the most part, it's really amazing. And I was able to create these sequences in a matter of weeks, where historically it could take like a year to build out a good nurture sequence. So that's a very recent way that I use ChatGPT. And I feel like the stories I'm sharing with you, I feel like every time I've used ChatGPT with these specific examples, it makes me fall more in love with it and be more grateful that we live in a day and age that we have access to AI. It sounds crazy. It sounds like science fiction, but it really helps me as an entrepreneur to be more efficient. The last thing that I really used ChatGPT for that was a game changer was troubleshooting sound. So I am recording Dietitian Side Hustle, the book, to be used as an audiobook on Audible. Now, Audible has very high standards when it comes to sound, but I thought because I'm a podcaster, I've got this. I talk all the time into a microphone. Easy peasy. I could read my book. But what I learned, the deeper I got into the standards that Audible has for Audible books, I know nothing about sound. It is a whole other language. It's a whole science, and I know nothing. So I was doing some research online. I found a platform to record content to allow me to edit it in a way that met the standards of Audible. See, I could barely explain it to you guys. It's so confusing. But I found a tool called Audacity. Maybe you're familiar with it. It's a tool. It's completely free. It allows you to record content. So I downloaded Audacity, recorded a chapter in Dietitian Side Hustle. I actually did share it on the podcast a few back, chapter 1. And in Audible, you could actually upload your file and ask, does this meet the criteria? If it doesn't, Audible will tell you, hey, here's what you need to fix. Now, here's where ChatGPT came in, because it told me what I needed to fix, but I had no idea how to do it. Like, no idea. It's so darn confusing. I'm like, I think I need to get like a PhD to understand this. Maybe not. And if you know sound, you might be giggling because maybe it's not that confusing, but to me it is. So what I did was I copied and pasted the feedback Audible gave me on, hey, here's what you need to do to this file. I put it in ChatGPT and I said, hey, how do I do this in Audible? How do I do this in Audacity, that tool I use for recording? And ChatGPT would tell me exactly what I needed to do. Click on this, go to this dropdown, change this setting to this, and download. And I'm like, what? It would have taken me 10,000 years to figure that out on my own. And actually what I was considering doing before this was finding a local sound studio to go record my book in a studio, which would have been a lot of money. A lot of money. And also, I don't know if it would have given me the flexibility to record like I have been. Like, I just think of, man, I would have to like book in a big chunk of time, and that's a lot of talking, and goodness gracious. So 3 real life examples of how ChatGPT has helped me in business is reviewing the book that I wrote and giving me feedback on if I'm missing anything or if it's too confusing, creating email sequences for the geriatric dietitian so I can serve my people for a whole year without having to trade time, and also troubleshooting Audacity and Audible to create good, high quality sound content. So let me share a couple of examples for personal. So there's really I'll share 3 stories and then kind of throw in one last way that I've been using ChatGPT. So one big thing actually probably the biggest thing this year that ChatGPT has helped me with is answers to my migraines. I know I've shared this on the podcast before, but I've struggled with migraines for a long time. It didn't happen until after I had kiddos. When I first got migraines, I could take something like ibuprofen, but then ibuprofen stopped working. Then I could take a Aleve for migraine, but then Aleve stopped working. And then I got in a situation where it didn't matter what I would do. If I had a migraine, I would just suffer. There was nothing I could do to make it go away. So then I was like, okay, I guess I'm just going to suffer. But I didn't get migraines too frequently until the end of the last year. It started becoming more and more frequent. And I'm like, I got to do something about this. This is ridiculous because, every single time I go to the doctor, I talk to the doctor about my migraines. And I feel like I've kind of gotten the runaround. Maybe I didn't advocate for myself as well as I could have. But, just being told like, oh, take more magnesium, take B2 and vitamin B2. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so far past that. It does nothing. So anyways, what I ended up doing at the beginning of this year, 2025, is I started in my phone, I opened a file, and I would write down every single time that I had a migraine. Initially, I thought, okay, maybe there's a food trigger that I'm missing. So I recorded all of my food for like months. I don't have food triggers. It's like, oh, okay, I got a migraine this day, this day. I didn't eat any of the same food, like, or even categories. So I definitely, I don't have food triggers of things that I'm eating. I know of some historical ones I no longer eat or consume. But I was just really diving deep onto what can I do. Now, around the same time, about a month into that, I got an Aura Ring. An Aura Ring's really amazing. If you're not familiar with it, it tracks all kinds of data about your body. And one of the cool things it does for women is it tracks our cycle data. What that means is it tracks our temperature and tells us a little bit about our hormones. So months into the year, I am collecting all this data. I'm getting frustrated, and my migraines are getting worse and worse. I'm getting more and more, and they were becoming debilitating. My doctor did recommend some triptans, which are some medications that, like prescription medications that can help. One made me so sick. Like, I was like, man, okay, I don't have a migraine, but I'm like sick as a dog and feel like I have the flu. So I still can't function. I found another one that worked, but then it would cause rebound migraines where I'd take it and then the migraine would come back. And I take it, the migraine would come back. And then my migraines were spanning 3 days, which is super fun. And so it was around the month of May when I had forget the number off the top. I should remember the number. It was like 7 or 8 days of migraine. And I'm like, I can't live like this. I really can't. It's hard to work. It's hard to mom. It's hard to even exist when you're just laying in your bedroom, like pure torture. And if you have migraines, you know. If you don't, I'm very happy for you. But I know we all have our things, right? So anyways, my migraines were killing me. I felt so frustrated that my doctors weren't able to help me. So I turned to my friend ChatGPT. Now, I will tell you around this time, I was starting to feel like there might be a trend between my hormones and these migraines. And one of the reasons is because my mom had told me, she's like, well, because my migraines have like replicated my mom's. And my mom was like, well, after menopause, I stopped getting migraines. I'm like, well, that's something to look forward to, number one, but also, what's going on here? So what I did was with my Aura, you can download reports. So I downloaded the reports for all of my cycle data. I put it in ChatGPT. I copied and pasted all the dates of my migraines. I put in ChatGPT, pushed that talk function, started talking about my migraine experience, what's worked for me, what's not. Well, not much has worked, but things that temporarily worked. And then sharing even my mom's history and just the whole picture of my migraines. And what ChatGPT was able to do for me was completely game changing. It has been life changing. It has been life saving. Is that ChatGPT figured out what the heck is wrong with me? It was able to literally in a heartbeat analyze all of my data. And it was able to tell me that my migraines were caused by a drop in estrogen that happened around time of period and ovulation. And literally it was like clockwork. And it also, I can go into the weeds about the whys behind it, but it was able to even explain to me what was going on inside my body. And, as us science majors we're so into explain the mechanisms to me. So I feel like I now have a really good understanding about what's causing my migraines. So once I understood the cause, now we could find the solution. Now, again, ChatGPT is a tool. ChatGPT is not my doctor. So what I did was I asked ChatGPT to make a summary to send to my doctor. I brought it to my doctor. I was able to show her, it mapped everything out, the trends, showing the cycle data and then where the migraines hit and showing when I have a drop in temperature and drop in estrogen. It was so cool, you guys. So cool. Brought it to my doctor. She now had information where with that, she could help me make recommendations that were really beneficial. And while it's still a journey, I'm on, I've got some treatments, got some referrals to where my migraines are so much more managed. I'm still, there's still little things here and there. They're not completely gone, but they're significantly improved. And I feel hope for the first time in ever, honestly. And I'm like, thank goodness for ChatGPT. My doctors couldn't figure it out. It took the advent of AI for me to finally figure out my migraines, tackle them, and move forward. And in the doctor's defense, migraines are so complicated. And so everyone's different. Everyone's different. And so I think for me, that's been actually the biggest thing of how ChatGPT has been completely a game changer for me because it gave me answers that improved my health that allowed me to function in my life. Now, another thing that it was really helpful for, I kind of mentioned how I made that summary for my doctor because I recognize ChatGPT is not a doctor and I want to bring that data to someone who actually knows what they're talking about because, ChatGPT will never replace real humans. So was it May of this year? And again, I feel like I share everything with you guys. I hurt my back. I essentially sprained my lower back, pulled some ligaments, could not function. I feel like this year has been a whole lot of I couldn't function, whether or not with pain. This has been my year of pain. It's been really hard. and really interesting because I've never really suffered with pain aside from the periodic migraine. But, when migraines are stacked and you have them that frequency and then back pain, and I had other stuff. I found out I had mold in my window and that was causing like ear aches and all kinds of issues with my face and the tubes and all kinds of stuff in your face. But all in the same time. I mean, literally, the migraines, the back, the mold issue. I'm like, what's happening to me? But with the back, one thing I was able to do with ChatGPT is like I did with the migraines, I push the talk button and I talk through what happened, what I'm experiencing, what the pain is, when the pain is, all the different things. And it was able to summarize everything for me to bring to my doctor. And it was really cool for me because it helped me to be able to articulate clearly to someone who doesn't have a lot of time, who's, usually kind of busy. And, I actually gave the doctor this document. And he's like, wow, where'd you get this from? All my doctors are like, ChatGPT. And it was just so cool because we were able to get, it was a quick, concise conversation. I was able to get answers. They had all the data they needed. So I think it really helped us both on both sides. So for me, now when I have, health issues that I just talk to ChatGPT and it figures out my thoughts, because you guys know this by being podcast listeners. Sometimes I talk in circles and sometimes I forget what I'm talking about. And, I always hate it when I leave the doctor. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this. And so it has been a game changer. Now, another way ChatGPT has helped me is I've shared that my dog passed away this summer. And, I'm just thinking back to this year. This year has been a year, friends. I mean, with all the pain and then my dog stuff on top of it. So around the same season that I'm dealing with all this pain and all this health issues, my dog was declining. My dog was 16 years old when he passed, and he was really starting to decline, incontinent in the house, more confusion, just a lot of stuff going on. And there's that hard point as a pet parent when you decide where's the balance between quality of life and suffering. And, not wanting to make the decision too soon, not wanting to make it too late. And it's really a hard decision to make as a pet owner. And so I actually called and made an appointment to put Jasper down the following week. This was in July. And I was really I don't know if the word is regret. I was second guessing myself. I mean, I was all in my feelings. So I took out my phone, turned on ChatGPT, started talking to it, shared everything that was going on with Jasper. And what ChatGPT was able to do, and this was pretty cool, they were able to pull up the guidelines of what veterinarians use to make decisions on when to put a dog down. And it was able to pull that kind of screening tool and showed me how Jasper met that criteria. And it was just so helpful for me to get that information and to realize okay, I knew I was making the right choice, but it gave me that reassurance. And again, scientist in me, that data to show me that no, okay, this was the right choice. So, I mean, that's something personal and it may sound kind of silly, like, why are you talking to ChatGPT about your dog? But it really actually helped me in a time that I was just so sad. So yeah, that's kind of a few of the ways that I've been using ChatGPT in business and personal. And, I hope that's helpful as I'm kind of sharing these stories to get you thinking about man, what are other ways that I could use ChatGPT for? I have some other ones I could share, but just for sake of time, I feel like we've got the point, right? The point is that ChatGPT is a tool that we can use in business and our personal life. And, you guys know I'm a fan of, it's not just about business, it's about your whole life and also things that impact business. When I look at my stuff this year, has all the health stuff and the passing of my dog impacted business? 1,000%, but something I'm continuing to work on. And so I'm just grateful for this tool and technology. I know sometimes there's fear about, is AI going to replace us? 100% not. AI has made things change in the online world, but for me, things are always going to change. But when change comes with tools that help us be more efficient and more effective and do things better, to me, that is a total game changer and win-win. So anyways, I hope that this was helpful sharing those examples. And if you are not on ChatGPT, remember, you can access it for free. Just play around with it, see what it can do for you. If you want access to the webinar that I did this past Monday, just reach out and let me know, and I can always send you the replay. So anyways, that's what I had for you guys. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. My book launch is coming up soon. I shared an episode about Dietitian Side Hustle Insiders recently. I would love if you can go to katiedodd.com and sign up to be a Dietitian Dietitian Side Hustle Insider, get the inside scoop about my upcoming book, get access to buy the book earlier, get access to my book launch party where I'm doing all kinds of giveaways. So yeah, I hope to see you there. And thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'll see you all next week. Bye, guys.